Hello everybody, welcome to a completely different video. As you can see, I have my SP Studio avatar, so some is going on. And today we have an LB Cup news flash video, which isn't even really news because we got two races up on the back burner. I recorded a Martinsville race last week, which is coming out on Sunday, and then either today or tomorrow I'm doing a Darlington race. So this video ain't even for to be that relevant, so take that as you will. So basically this is an LB Cup news flash video coming from as of Indianapolis. So, yeah, if you want to see all the other stuff that happened afterward, there will be a video later on giving news for that. Anyways, within 1 week, that's still crazy to me, that we did all those races in 1 week. In 1 week, we completed about 7 races. The first one was Texas, of course. Second one was Richmond, which I ended up losing the footage to because YouTube wanted to be fucking goofy and not upload the video. Michigan, the worst Daytona 500 ever, which is in the LB Cup Series playlist. Daytona Beach, which was actually a pretty decent race. Pocono, and Homestead, Miami, which I consider the best race of Season 5 so far. So within those 7 races, we had a lot of competition, which unfortunately I had to exempt points from the Richmond race because yet again I didn't have any footage. And here is the point standings after all of those races. As you can see, Nass was pretty competitive and got 184. Arian, good old Mickey Mouse, is right under there in 183, 1 point off. Rin and Carrot are tied, as both of them have been pretty competitive, and me and Dale are tied for points. And if you've watched the Indianapolis race and all of the utter chaos that happened in that race, well, you know what happened. But if you don't know what happened, well, here's a description using the Roblox avatars. Carrot swept all the stages and kicked ass. Kyle was completely screwed over in the finish by Prime, who isn't even on the point standings. Dale straight up quit midway through the race. I was doing pretty good for myself this time. And Arian basically committed seppuku by doing flags. Also, Nas didn't show up to the track. And with all of that chaos going on, of course the point standings are going to look a little bit fucked. And, as expected, the point standings look a little fucked. Carrot ended up getting a stupidly high amount of points. Arian was doing perfectly fine until he just decided to quit. And also got 2 black flags, putting him back at 188. Kyle had to get courtesy points because of Prime's mistake. And I got a pretty high amount of points. So, yeah, it's basically chaos. Oh god, I can't even start to imagine how the points will look after all of these other races. And since I was stupid and forgot to add this bit in the beginning of the video, let's quickly go over all the other races. And if you don't like spoilers, well, you better hide and cover your ears and hide your kids because there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. Texas was the first race back in a year. It was an okay race and had a pretty close finish, even though the restart was very awkward. That led to Kyle's win. Richmond was an absolute slugfest, which led to a very close finish where Peanut was spun out by Arian, and Arian won the race, with Peanut being incredibly pissed off after the race. Michigan was the most mid race this entire season. It was basically just a bunch of us going around the track for a couple of laps, not that many drivers, and Dale ended up taking Arian's car for the win. However, due to the harsh debates over who has won this race, I basically say no one won that race. Sorry, Dale. Daytona was Nass's first race in the Cup Series, and it was absolute donkey balls. I mean, that race was straight garbage. It started out pretty good, but then Kyle had to go, and Arian ended up going to get a haircut, so we only had just me and Nass. and a bunch of other fucking randos that just made start and park appearances. And, as you are possibly predicting, yes, NAS won that race. Now, the next race at Daytona Beach was a completely different story. It was a pretty competitive race, and I think you should go watch it. Spoiler alert. Car won at a considerably close margin over NAS, and Arian got into a really bad wreck at the end of the race. Pocono's first stage is absolute ass cheeks. I mean, basically, it was just a bunch of crashes and other crap that you shouldn't watch. Comparatively, stage 2 was a little bit better, but that's a pretty low fucking bar because the rest of the race was pretty much crashes. And Arian got a pretty decent lead at the end and ended up winning that race. And on the high banks of Homestead, Miami, there was a lot of really, really good racing, lots of passing, a lot of that good shit. Then Dale came in late and ended up getting his first win, which, in my opinion, was kind of snookering wins from the others, but whatever, we'll count it. And Indy was absolute chaos. At one point, there were 3 drivers duking it out, and it was still very competitive. So I think that's the best race of the season. So yeah, that was a quick overview of all those other races. Well, that's all the time I got today. Well, I'll see you next time. See you at Martinsville.